Thank you, Captain. I was actually born in Nairobi, Kariakoo, Nairobi, in the late 59. And so I'm about 61, 62 years now. And I was born and brought up there, and brought up in Nairobi. Went to primary school in Nairobi, called Heshima Primary School in the Eastlands. For those who know Eastlands, that's around Bahati in Nairobi. And so I grew up in the Eastlands, but my father used to work somewhere in Westlands. So I also grew up in the area around the museum area of Kenya, where today there is that international casino. That is where I was also living. So I'm familiar with Nairobi, having been brought up there. And also I went to high school in Dagoretti High School, somewhere on the suburbs of Nairobi. I know a lot of you know Dagoretti, so I went to Dagoretti High School. It's called Dago.
Dago,
For
yes.
those who know the sheng of that, Dago. And after leaving Dagoretti High School, I went for my A-levels. I went to, that time we used to have from 5 and 6, they used to be called A-levels, advanced level. And I went to Muranga High School, Muranga, the famous Muranga school. And I did my Form 6 there. And after that, I joined Badashu College in Limuru. I was one of their management trainees, and they trained me. I went even up to Italy for my industrial technology. And after that, I came back to work, and I went to join United Nations Development Program, UNDP, and worked as a project coordinator. So that's how I have been doing, my friend Captain Jeroge.
Wow, that is very good. So, tell us a little bit about life then as compared to life now. I know you have been following about Kenya, the issues of education. Now, see the way you grew up, the way you proceeded from primary school to secondary school to high school, and immediately you get to a good training institute, and then you proceed on, and life has been like that. So tell us a little bit about what was going on then as compared to now in terms of lifestyle, in terms of behavior, in terms of social life, in terms of governance, in terms of career choices and development, such a scenario.
Yeah, thank you, Captain. I think when you look back at how we grew up and our kind of educational system, we grew up in a system that, of course, we inherited from the British, whereby we wanted to focus more on getting a job, getting a job or employment. And sometimes we tended to want to get jobs that are white collar jobs. And so our education system was geared towards getting white collar jobs and being in an office and feeling that you're in an office and so forth. And we did not really focus so much on technical education. In fact, sometimes we thought that the technical education was for people who did not do very well in their exams. So we need to really shift our focus so that we pay more attention to having an education system that is responding to the economy and the needs that are there in the whole life. Because nowadays, even there is more demand for people who have technical skills than those who have knowledge that leads them in their offices. We need to have an education system that is generating more employers than employees. We need to be having people who are more creative, more innovative. That's the kind of education system that we need.
Very good. Very good. Then you, after you went to all those classes, after all, you came here. Tell us about that transition.
Yeah, thank you. So I mentioned that I used to work for United Nations Development Program, UNDP, as a project coordinator somewhere around 91 and up to 97. In 1997, I joined Nairobi University for my master's in business administration, doing entrepreneurship. And at that time, I had started a small a business and also a small NGO called Skills Across Kenya. So Skills Across Kenya as an NGO was working to help small businesses to improve their business skills, to improve their technical skills, to improve their marketing skills. And this was actually after a project that I had started within or I was part of within UNIDO and UNDP, that was helping women who are in business. Actually, it was called the Juakali Women's Textile Project. And so I went on to form these skills across Kenya. And so I was helping small business people to improve their businesses through showing them how to develop business plans, how to market their products, how to make good quality products. And so with that project, I then had funding and sponsorship, which I was able to even take these business people to international exhibitions where they would exhibit their products. And one of the places that we went with some of the business people is both Canada and US. And while I came here first in US in 97 through a program that was funded by Coca-Cola, I then started to see how I can be able to work here and live here in US.
Awesome. Then there's so much that you have done after that, since then. I know you have founded many organizations and institutions, and maybe our listeners would want to know why did we think about celebrating our one voice heroes and people who have achieved so much in the diaspora. So how did you come up with all these institutions that you ended up founding, and especially those that touch on the community, yet you would have continued with your own private business?
Thank you, Captain, for that question. I'm always a firm believer that we need to celebrate ourselves. We need to celebrate and trumpet our achievements as a diaspora, because that is the only way that young boy there or that young girl there is going to learn that even if they go through hardships, even if they go through things that are not working very well, they still hope. And therefore, I saw this as a chance where we can have a program or a project where we celebrate people who have done something in the diaspora. It may be a simple thing as just helping the community in terms of some medical or some training, or some even helping people back home in Kenya by helping them build a school or an orphanage or whatever that they have done. They may have impacted people not just in the diaspora but back home. And I'm a firm believer that this kind of small gestures that we do to other people need to be recognized, need to be celebrated, so that people can know what others have done. And some of these things may, in the end, catalyze or become a spark of hope for somebody who is not having hope. And that is why I started a Global Diaspora Development Foundation, which is a program, a foundation that works with the youth in mentoring them, and also in the community in terms of supporting them. And also now we have the Global Diaspora One Voice Consortium, which actually brings together many organizations in the diaspora, so that they can be able to speak in one voice. And one voice, we mean by trying to look at issues that are in various sectors, whether it is social sector, whether it is the economic sector, whether it is the political sector, whether it is the technology sector, or even the legal sector, whatever sector is out there, and trying to see how we can be able to speak in one voice. And one of the things that we have done is to assign each person who is in our organization a certain deliverable project that they can be able to work on. And one of the projects that I'm working on is this one about celebrating our heroes, because we believe this is important. We have people who have done very well in, say, for instance, sports in this country, in the diaspora. They came here and they are doing very well. There are people who are doing very well in the media, just like you, Captain Jeroge. You are doing very well. You are touching people's life. So even you are our hero. Huh?
Thank you.
You may not think so, but you are. And others that are out there. So we need to celebrate these people. It might even be that nurse that is working long hours somewhere, and when she's not working as a nurse, so maybe she's helping people back in Kenya by sending them some medical supplies. Those are people who we need to recognize. We have even people here in the diaspora who have made a lot of breakthrough in the medical field. They have made even patents of certain technological and medical products. So we need to celebrate these people. There are others that are even architects of very big buildings here. And they are also exchanging that skills to people in Kenya. So we need to celebrate these people. That is why we started this project. It is celebrating those people that have a positive impact and influence in the diaspora.
Many times we think, and I don't know whether it is something that is from our communities, but we think that maybe when somebody is pointing out whatever he or she has done, many are times that the community tends to bring these people down, and maybe they think that he or she is looking for a political position, or he or she is showing off, or maybe at the end of the day, some of these people have chosen to go underground, because at the end of the day they think, okay, I wanted to do this for the community, but I'm being fought from left, right, and center. What do we need to tell the community as far as celebrating our heroes and heroines is concerned? And even cutting across different cultural, different tribes. We have all of them here in the U.S.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think sometimes we tend to confuse celebrating our heroes and thinking that it is a way in which people have another agenda or another motive. The motive here is just to bring out the goodness in other people, whatever that they are doing that is good, so that others that may be having some issues, or maybe somebody who is not having some hope somewhere, they can generate some hope. I know sometimes people think that publicity leads to somebody wanting a higher office or maybe seeking a political post. No, this project for heroes is just a way in which we bring out the good side of things that people are doing. Because if we keep on just hearing things that are very difficult every day, and not knowing that there's somebody somewhere who is doing something good, we may tend sometimes to lose focus. So this is just something that once in a while we want to say, hey, we know this gentleman who is in, say, Oklahoma, who is working with the people of indigenous people, or there is this person in Texas who came here and he was celebrated as one of the good marathon runners one time. So there may be people who did something good, and that is what we are trying to celebrate. It has nothing to do with trying to seek a limelight or political office or anything like that.
What is your idea about the issue of tribalism and political differences that has been exported, or we carried it just the way we carried our clothes in a small box or in a small travel bag, and we loaded it in the plane, and we came with it to our villages and our estates and our towns and our cities here in the US. It has gone even deep, even in churches and even in community organizations. What do you think about this, and what is the solution?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think it's a very, very a loaded question. And while I may not have all the solution and all the answers to that question, I know that this has been one of our greatest undoing, tribalism. And how really it came about is something that we can trace back to our history as Kenyans and so forth. And while I'm not here to put a blame on anybody or any institution or any organization, looking at even my life, I think it was until later in life that I started, hearing all this about tribalism. As I mentioned earlier, I grew up in Nairobi. I grew up in an estate where, for me, everybody was one and the same. I grew up, as I said, in Kariakor, Nairobi. That does not belong to any tribe. We are all Kenyans. And in fact, for me, I look at everybody as a Kenyan. And I keep asking people, I've never even got a single dollar in my pocket because of my tribe. I've never earned even a single piece of loaf of bread because of my tribe. So tribe does not get you anywhere. In fact, if we rely only on our tribal links, we will end up not being of any real value to ourselves. Yes, culture is good. There's good about culture, but culture is not the same as tribalism. So we need to continue cultivating our culture, but the tribalism part, which is trying to kind of think that your tribe is more superior than others, that needs to be a message that needs to be really quashed and removed from people's mind. Because in real sense, when you are experiencing or you are practicing tribalism, you are really not empowering people. You are continuing to perpetuate that idea that your tribe is more superior than others, and that may not really be your doing. Even our children here now that are in US, we cannot even continue, teaching them in our mother tongue, because that is not what they are experiencing every day. So what we are saying is that tribalism needs to end, and people need to see themselves as Kenyans first. You need to see yourself as a Kenyan first, and maybe your tribe is down the ladder somewhere, no? But not something that you need to be putting it as the first item or the priority. Priority should be Kenyanness. Tribalism should be down there, and not something that we practice. We need to practice cultural heritage. Yes, there are good things that our forefathers and ancestors gave us. Those ones we need to celebrate them very well, but we cannot be practicing tribalism.
Thank you so much. Gary Wainina, thank you so much. And nice to see you. Wangeshi Recho from Seattle. Bishop Mehemehe, all the way from Thailand, Bangkok. we are in the show. Thank you so much, my brother. Congratulations, Dr. Robert. Gaito gago ishiarira. Alicia Keys. Glory to God, we are fine and good morning. Thank you so much. Jenny Wamushene asante sana. Grace Weru, thank you so much, my dear. I hope you're doing good down in California. Asante sana. Monica Bukinya kohana ya Denver, Colorado. Tunaendelea vizuri. We one step at a time. This is a show that is gonna celebrate. We are going to have all kinds of people who are doing great things in this country. They are in the diaspora, by the way. And if you think that down there in your state there is a Kenyan who is doing something extraordinary for the community, not just for his family or for her family, for the community, let us know. We need to celebrate these people. We need to learn from them. These people who came here, like the other day when we had Dr. Millicent Boa, who came here as an international student, went on to work 3-4 jobs in Worcester, Massachusetts, and eventually is a doctor down in Seattle right now. She is a Kenyan. She is a woman doing great things. She has achieved. And the story that we listen and it becomes very encouraging. Or people like Gary Wainaina, who despite all the challenges, going through dialysis, and he doesn't, cow down and says, no, I'm not going to work. He goes and does a very good job as an MC in different events, giving me a lot of a run, Wow, and many others who are doing great things. And NAS down there, people who are doctors, people who are in other different professionals, or even community leaders. Let us know so that we can celebrate with them and celebrate them and learn from them. Dr. Chiuri, there are other organizations that you work with. I have seen organizations like Angaza. Tell us about that. And Kamnau's Kemen, and all the other organizations that you work with to celebrate the other heroes.
Thank you, Captain, for that question. Now, Angaza is an idea that came to my friend, Captain. He's called E-Captain, Donald E-Captain. This is a gentleman who lives in Columbus, Ohio. And we had this idea of celebrating our cultural heritage. We know that we come here as Kenyans, but also we have our other cultural heritage, whether you are a Kikuyu, a Luo, a Kamba, a Giriama, a Kalenjin, a Meru, a Kisi, a Maasai. So what we did was to start Angaza. Angaza every year celebrates all these Kenyans through various ways. Mm-hmm. We host and do a music, a festival that has music, that has dancing, that has art, that has culinary, that has even fashion show, and even things that we let our young people know through poetry and through speaking, public speaking, so that they can know how it is good to speak even in Swahili, and things like that. In fact, this last summer, we had a festival, a Youth Got Talent festival for young people, where even the gentleman you talk about, Kamnau, was a guest and also a judge for that festival for young people, where they were celebrating their talents and so forth. So Angaza is a festival for celebrating our culture through music, through dancing, so that people would even dance Kikuyu or Kalenjin music or or Giriama music. And this has been very, very empowering, because when you stay all the day at work, where you are only listening to this and that music, and you remember that Kamogiri song that comes once in a while, you just want to jump down somewhere on the floor and dance. Mm-hmm. And we have discovered, Captain, that there's something about music and dancing that is very, very humane, and it brings people together. These are things that I know our people really enjoy, especially when we are here. We remember our heritage and we want to pass this on to the generations that come. So Angaza was actually for that. And I will share with you, for viewers, if you want, the website where you can be able to see our past activities since 2015. Mm-hmm. We've been holding Angaza every year. And this year is the only year that we were not able to hold, one, because of the COVID situation. But we were still able to celebrate all the other years that we have done Angaza. But guess what? Next year, we have even a bigger Angaza festival coming up. And we will be giving you more details about it.
Thank you so much. There's another one called Pendo.
Yes, Pendo. Pendo actually stands for, it's called Pendo for East African Community Initiatives. Mm-hmm. This is a non-profit that we started way back in 2011. And the whole purpose of this non-profit is to support communities that are not doing very well. Sometimes we hear of people that are going through hunger, or somebody who is having no school fees, or somebody who is having some medical issue. So way back in 2011, when there was actually hunger in East Africa, we started Pendo as a non-profit, so that we can be able to raise some funds to help people in Kenya. And that is what Pendo has been all about, helping others wherever they have with a need. So we get people who would sponsor and say, hey, that initiative that you're doing, say in Eastern Kenya, say in Machakos, we want to support you and do that. Or if we have somebody who wants some help in Masailand, or in Central Kenya, or in Laikipia, or somewhere else in Kenya, we would be able to support them. So Pendo was just for that kind of a situation, because sometimes people go through difficulties. So this non-profit was just to help others that are facing some challenges.
Thank you so much. Welcome. We proceed on, and looking at your experience and the life and times and your CV, which is very deep, by the way. For the sake of those who want to go to school, we are going to listen to the CV of Dr. Chiuri. And there's a lot of potential in the Kenyan community. Is it true?
Oh, yes. Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I was telling. Actually, I was discussing this with our great ambassador David Gachero, who is the deputy chief mission of the embassy of Kenya, Washington D.C. Mm-hmm. And actually, we were saying, if there is anything that we need to start exporting from Kenya, it is those talented young people that are Kenyan. That would be a great export to other countries that can be able to generate even more wealth for our country. In fact, if we can start a program where we identify how we can be able to get our skilled young people who are in Kenya to other countries where they can be able to work and make some remittances back to Kenya, that would be a really good way to get stable foreign currency for our country. In fact, as you know, Captain, those of us who are working in diaspora nowadays, the remittances from the diaspora to Kenya are our biggest foreign exchange earner right now. Mm-hmm. More than even the coffee, more than the tea, more than the tourism. This is where we need to be going now. We need now to look at a way in which our skilled young men and women can now be everywhere in the world, working there and getting the money back to our country. That is what is happening to other diaspora countries like India and Korea and Indonesia. We need to do the same.
Wow, thank you. Going back to something that we had mentioned about the things that Dr. Chiuri has been able to do, it is important because this one would help people who come from Kenya and they migrate to the US either to study or even to work or even to visit. Some people came visiting and we have continued to visit, and now we are just about to participate in the elections of this country, because along the line, in the process of visiting, we continued visiting and we visited areas that we fell in love with, and we became naturalized citizens. So, take us through some of these achievements, through career, the studies that you have studied, the issues of audit that you do, the certifications that you do, and maybe there is somebody somewhere who thinks that, my mom is a nurse, my dad is driving a truck, and I don't want to do that. Maybe he can come and join you in your area as a profession or as a career.
Thank you, Captain, for that kind of question. Now, as I mentioned, I'm in the quality and food safety industry. So I run Global Standards Institute, which is a certification and auditing company. So we audit companies that are mainly in the food industry, to certify them for quality and to certify them for their food safety. Mm-hmm. And this is really not very difficult process, but it is something that somebody needs to spend some time to learn about the food industry, to learn about food science, to learn about quality management systems, to learn about how people can be able to meet compliance standards. We actually follow what is called International Standards Organization requirements, that is ISO. Maybe some of you are familiar with ISO 9001, which is a quality management standards scheme for certifying people that they have met certain requirements. So this can be very easy. In fact, depending on whatever career somebody has, you can be able to approach us, and we can be able to see what kind of certifications would be required for you in what you're doing. So we have got a lot of people that we have supported and helped throughout the way, so that they can become either consultants or auditors or assessors or trainers. So whatever field you're in, we can be able to certify you so that you can become a consultant in that area, or you can become a trainer, or you can become a counselor, or whatever that you need to do. Obviously, it is important for you to get the qualifications that are necessary for whatever that you want to do. You must get the proper training. You must also go through some competency examinations. Mm-hmm. But in the end, you qualify and you become a consultant. I did go for my master's in a global management. I also did my food science from American Institute of Baking in Manhattan, Kansas. I also did my second master's degree from St. Louis University. So these things can be done. You continue earning them progressively. I often tell somebody that education is lifelong. You continue improving yourself. You cannot get everything in one day. You continue kind of aspiring from after you got your first degree, you get your second one, you continue until you're able to get to the apex of your career. But even then, you continue improving yourself. So even that young man and that young woman who is somewhere, whatever level you are, keep on climbing, keep on challenging yourself. You can get to the next level. Don't think that you have reached the end. No, you continue challenging yourself, you continue self-motivating yourself, and you will do well. If you need help, you can approach our organization in terms of linking you with even other people who can mentor you. We have mentorship programs where we mentor young people so that they can be able to walk alongside others that have done well, and they can help them wherever they need.
Awesome. We have so many Kenyans who have gotten into business, either in the nursing field, they are doing healthcare provision, others are running group homes and other institutions, others are in the logistics, they are having trucks everywhere, transportation, and many other areas in terms of business. What are some of the secrets or some of the words that you can give these people so that they can perfect and they can do their businesses better in these foreign countries? And as we continue to do that, I want to appreciate our listeners wherever you are. Thank you so much for coming in. Those who are live on our app, thank you so much. I may not be able to mention your names, but I can see you. Thank you so much. I look at the system and it tells me wherever you are. I feel so honored to have you. And I hope that we are learning something. Those who are on our YouTube page, thank you so much. And also those who are on our Facebook page, let us share this because it is going to help somebody somewhere. Wageshi Rachel, thank you so much. Things can be done. These things can be done. Keep on climbing. Challenge yourself. Beautiful words. Connie Champa from Indiana. Thank you so much. Together with Stella Mossetti. Santeni sana, nice to see you. Martin Wajeri, I hope that you're doing good down there or up there in Pennsylvania, yeah? And I hope it is not yet, it's still warm a little bit. Keta Rogano, thank you. Another great business person. Mudogo ito, Sarah Wanjiro, thank you so much. Elizabeth, I see you. We continue listening and learning from the very best. And by the way, as we continue, if you're there in your state, if you are there in your town, you are there in your city, you are there in your community, and you have that great Kenyan who has been doing great things, we wanna have these people and recognize them and learn from them. They can share their story. I'll be able to drive or rather to fly wherever they are and even do this program live from there. So you can share the story. You can send that text. You can share on our comments or you can even send it direct to me. Okay, the good business practices.
Good. Thank you, Captain. I think one of the things I always tell people is that some of the good business practices is having some core values. Core values are very, very important. One of the core values that is very important in business is trust. Trust. You must develop a trust between you and your customers, a trust between you and your employees, a trust between you and the people that supply you whatever that they supply. And more important, you must be focused. You must be focused on what you want to do. And you must be committed towards what you want to achieve. Mm-hmm. And even more important, having goals. Because in business, you must have a goal of what you want to achieve so that you know when you have achieved it. Because if you are having, say, for instance, a tracking business and you don't know how you'll know that it is doing well, then you might not even be able to know that it's either going down in terms of profit or going up in terms of expenses. So you need a plan. You need a plan. You need to really have a plan of what you want to do. And lastly, you need to be in a business in which you have a passion for. You have a passion for, because sometimes just to start a business because you want a profit might not be a very good way to sustain that business. So you must start a business that you have a passion for. Just like you, Captain, you started this media business because you have a passion for media and communicating and entertaining people. So this would be a very good business for you, because that is where your heart is. Don't start a business where your heart is not there, or where your passion is not there, because those kind of businesses will end up very, very quickly. In fact, the current study is that out of the 10 businesses that are opened every year, 6 or 7 of them end up collapsing within the first 1 or 2 years. So that tells us that 3 or 4 businesses are the only ones that can continue. So, and those 3 or 4 are the ones where the owners of those businesses have a passion for whatever that they're doing. So passion is very, very important. It kind of carries everything else together.
Thank you so much. Now, let's get to a little bit of some things that are happening. I know we have a few minutes before we wind up. This will be a 1-hour program, and we will be giving people an opportunity to share their story and their testimonies, and we learn from them. Let us get to a little bit of social issues. As a leader in the community, as somebody who has had and enjoyed living here, there's so many things that are going on. One issue that is bothering so many people is the issue of suicide and mental health issues, depression. We have young people who are killing themselves, families. We have couples who are, killing each other, and we have had these stories. As a leader, what is your message to the Kenyans living here in terms of dealing with these issues?
Thank you, Captain, for that question. And my heart goes to that family or that group of people that may have lost somebody through either suicide or whatever form of death, or through depression, or even people who are going through depression. My heart goes to those kind of people. And one of the things that I have come to realize is that, these depressions and issues around that come because of there are other underlying issues. Depression is just like the outcome of other underlying issues. And when you look at it, really, some of these things are because, one, when somebody does not have any immediate support groups in the areas where they are. Because, when we come here as immigrants, sometimes we tend to get into this lifestyle of from home to work, or from work to home, and so forth. And we tend then not even to develop close links with the people who can be our keepers, people who we can be able to be sharing time with. So we tend sometimes to be just focused on that life of acquiring, and we tend then to not start cultivating relationships of people who would be able to be with us, and people who would be able to share with us, and so forth. So this is something that I have observed as a leader in the community. I've seen people who they have not had any time to socialize with other people, to meet other people, so that they can be able sometimes to have somebody who is following up on them, and in some way being giving them a shoulder to lean on, kind of. So what I'm appealing is that if you are out there, please try to develop a circle of friends that you can be able to be relating with, people who you can be communicating with often. It doesn't have to be every day, but at least once in a week or so, you have people who you are talking to, people who can be following up with you and following up what you're doing and how you're doing things. That can be a good support group. And even if you end up having a group where you meet at least once in a month, then you have friends that can be able to be calling you and sharing with you what they're also going through. Because sometimes people don't know that others are also facing certain other issues that are similar to what they're going through. So if you have a good circle of friends, these are people who can be sharing with you, and once in a while you can say, hey, even the situation that I'm in is not so, is also what somebody else is going through. And all of a sudden that becomes something that is now doable for you, and maybe the tension that was in you become less and less. So I think people need to have that circle of friends that are really helping them. And the other thing that I am also observing, Captain, is that our young people are getting so much this aping of culture, where you now want to behave in a certain culture that you are not so much used to. And the truth is that some people have started thinking that sometimes even taking drugs and things like that can lead to happiness. No, those are things that can actually now harm you in a very, very great way. And so we need to let our young people know that they cannot be able to get into issues of drugs or trying to ape the Western culture. We still have to have our culture. We still have to have a way in which we have a family, we have a home, we have people, a circle of friends that are close to us, because that uncle or that aunt that you have there is that member of the community that is close to you. That is your uncle, that is your aunt, and you need to be with them. They need to be kind of guiding you. You need to have friends that are telling you good things. In fact, I learned one time that you judge somebody by the friends that he is with. That is how you judge somebody. Yeah. You judge somebody by the kind of friends that he keeps with him. So try to look for people who are helping you, not people who are bringing you down or people who are misdirecting you. You need to be looking at, hey, what is this person advising me to do? If they are advising you to do good things, then you know that those are friends you need to keep. If there are people that are not giving you the right ideas, then you need to really think about it.
Wow, that is awesome. We are learning from the very best, and we'll continue doing this. Let's talk about something that is important. You are one of the men that I can say a great example, your journey to where you are. And I know that a man can learn from a man who has achieved or who have achieved. So, if you were to speak to men who are in the diaspora, I don't know, a few words that would make them real men and happy men like you.
Captain, I don't know about happy. Happy is how you make things you are. And happiness is very, very inside somebody. And while there are people that can be happy because of even something very, very small, the others that it takes quite an effort for them to be happy. So my message for men is that we just need to be authentic. We just need to be authentic. In fact, I've been going through a program where we call it Authentic Manhood. Authentic Manhood is very, very good series that was started some times back, and they are all modeled along the life of Jesus Christ. And
a little bit of network break. Let's get that, because that is important. A little bit of. So as we continue, we are learning from Dr. Robert Chiuri, Dr. Robert Chiuri, and this is a series that we are just beginning. This is a series that we are just beginning, and we will continue with it. We'll continue with that. Dr. Chiuri, we lost you just a little bit. I don't know what happened, but we we lost you just a little bit. So let us go back to that point of authentic. Being authentic, that's a powerful one. Connie Shampa, we are here. Triumph, the Terry, Destiny Helpers, Wangeshi, Rachel, thank you so much. Hey, let us listen to this one because it is important. Welcome again.
Yeah, so thank you, Captain. Sorry, I also lost you. I was talking about authentic manhood. And as I was saying, these are a series of learnings that I've been going through. Actually, it was introduced to me early this year. And it's really good lessons to learn about how you have become a man based on your childhood and based on your boyhood, and how you became a man. The impact and the influence that you had from your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, and all the people that grew up around you continue to impact you even when you became a man. And these things that shape you are things that were, the emotions that you had based on your influence from your father can have a great impact on you as a man. Or even your mother, how your mother, nurtured you and so forth. And more important, even the community you are in and how you grew up. All these things have an impact on your manhood. So my advice is that look back into your childhood, look up into your boyhood, and look at the way that you grew up, how the strong links of family that you continue to generate and to get from your mother and your father and others that are close to you. And even as you continue to get transition into manhood, because truth be told, we get into manhood and there are all these expectations from us to raise the family, to work, and to meet social standards. So we need to really sometimes go back to the basics. What do we need to really do? We need, first of all, to ensure that our families, our immediate families, get whatever that they need. We need, on one hand, to ensure that we are supportive of our children. We are supportive of their hopes and dreams. We are working closely with our spouses, because again, when you are trying to build that family, you cannot be able to do it alone. You have to do it in togetherness with your spouse. And so it's a question of give and take and compromise, because sometimes you'll be doing certain things that will anger your spouse, and she will also do certain things that will anger you, but you need to have a common ground. You need to have a common ground, and sometimes when these things happen, you need to establish how you will be able to cool off and relieve each other, because stumbling blocks will always be there. Happiness cannot be always every day. Sometimes there are days that you'll be low, but you still need your partner to kind of be a shoulder you can lean on. So what I keep on telling others is, let's try to be very accommodative. Let's try to compromise. We don't want always to be the ones that are happy. We also want to make other people happy, you know, because sometimes it's better to give than to receive. We learn that even from our church and Christian background.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always sometimes good to give than to receive. So ask yourself, how many people did you make happy today? Ask yourself, how many people did you make happy this week? Can you have an account of how many people you made happy this week?
Mm-hmm.
And if you are an accountant and you can say, hey, this is my account of these people I made happy this week. Ask yourself, not how many people made you happy, but you ask yourself. And maybe that would be a process in which you can also get some happiness by making other people happy, giving other people hope. Always don't ask yourself, who is going to make me happy? Ask yourself, who am I going to make happy?
Wow.
And maybe in the process, you're going to be happy yourself.
I think that is a quotable quote, and you can take that one to the bank, and you can say it is Dr. Robert Chiuri who said, and I think that is powerful. Wow, thank you so much, Daktari. What drives you?
Wow, what drives me? I mean, what drives me is that as I said earlier, I can bring a smile on somebody's face. I can feel I did something good. Uh, Earlier on, you asked me what I do, and I told you I do quality auditing and so forth. And I tell you, Captain, that in my industry, auditors are some of the most feared people, because a lot of people think that auditors come to fail them, so that they cannot be able to do, they feel they have failed. I know there are people even who fear when I get into their offices, because they think, oh, this inspector is going to fail my business.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you, I have such a great way of how I do my business, that at the end of my audit, or at the end of my business encounter with my clients, they are all happy. They are happy, even if they are not doing very well in certain areas. They agree on what that I have mentioned to them. So always my what drives me is that I can bring a smile to that person's face. I can bring a smile to them. I can feel that I have done something good. That is what I always aim at. That is my driving force. That I can make this world a better world in a way.
Wow, thank you so much. I want to ask two personal questions. One is, are there times or are there things that have happened in your life that you felt so beaten or so down? And, some of the things that happen to, a normal human being, and you feel, I'm depressed, I'm annoyed, I'm angry, or things that have brought you down.
Yeah, I think yes, I have had situations that have really being very, very sad about, and one was when I lost my own dad. When I lost my dad, around 1982, I lost my dad, and then I was just like a young 23-year-old young man, and that's a relatively young age to lose a parent, and so this had a big impact on me, because I come from a very, very small family where I'm just I'm just myself and my brother, but although I have many cousins and many people within my extended family, but my core family has been very small. A brother who lives still in Nyeri, Kenya. I have my children who are in Kenya, and others that are here. But that aspect of losing my dad in 1982, when I was that age, had a really big impact on me. And yes, I relied on my uncles and people that are close to me to really go through that and so forth. The other time that I also had a really tough time was in the year 2000, just around 1999, and just before the turn of the century. At that time, I was not doing very, very well in my business, and therefore I was not being able to really support my family very, very well in the way that I could. That was also another time that I felt very, very difficult, because again, when you are a breadwinner and you're not able to really support your family so well, it really strikes you very, very hard. So my heart goes out to people who are not able to really support their families very well, because again, that is one aspect of manhood, that you are able to really support your family.
True.
And I thank God that now, I feel I'm able to do that for my family here and also my family in Kenya. But I keep on encouraging our men out there. Even if you're not able to support your family, know that sometimes you can go down, but the next thing is you're going to go up. Just like a ball can go down, the next thing the ball is going up. So you may go up.
Very good. And on that note, I would maybe wish we all have those giants whose shoulders we stepped on so that we can reach to where we are. So who are some of those people who have impacted very positively in Dr. Robert Chiuri's life, those people he would want to mention that it is so and so who did ABCD, and you appreciate and recognize them?
Yeah, there are many people. There are many people, and I cannot be able to name all of them. Growing up and becoming a man, and also studying and so forth. There are very many people, men and women, that have had a tremendous impact on my life. Both people that I went to school with, people who I went to college with, people who I spent time working with, people who I was in the young Christian life with, and so forth. So there are so many people. I cannot be able to mention all of them, but they've had tremendous impact on my life. People who were my professors in university, who I could look at and say, hey, I want to be like them. I want to be like this person. But out of all those people, I remember people who did simple acts of friendship, people who would help me, or people who would help me in a way that they are not really asking for me to pay back to them. People who would support you in a way in which they don't want anything back from you, but they just want to help you. Look at those people who just help you out of their goodness. Those are people that make impact to you. They may be even people who may just be praying for you. Some of them you may not even know. In fact, I think some of the people who have helped me are people even who I don't even know, because they have never told me that they have helped me in whatever way. But even their good prayers somewhere may have affected me.
Thank you. We are getting into a very important situation, or maybe season, let me use that, here in the US. And the other part that is a little bit sorry is back in Kenya, where there is so much going on politically, as if we are just getting into an election in Kenya, and yet it is 2 years from now. but your word as far as these two countries is concerned, politically, that is here in the US and also back in Kenya. I don't know what you have to tell the people about these two things.
What I always say is that elections will come and go. Elections are things that are there, but they go. But the country will remains what it is. Mm-hmm. So yes, there are people that are aspiring for office, and therefore we need to have good quality leaders that are leading people. And the sorry thing is that today's leadership, especially political leadership, has been to those who are able financially to do it. Mm-hmm. Rarely do you hear nowadays people who have been elected to office who are not financially able. And I think this is something that we need to kind of address as a society, where now we have people who are seeking office so that they can become rich, not because they want to serve, but because they want to use that office for their personal gain. And perhaps maybe we need to somehow have a way in which the issue of wealth may not be a factor in the electoral process. Mm-hmm. I don't know how this can be achieved, but I think if we can be able to start looking at leaders within the community that are not necessarily rich, but people who have an agenda that can be helping that community, even at the grassroots level, looking at people who not necessarily they have a lot of resources, but they have ideas to get that community from one point to the next. That might be the people that we are looking for. But again, in future, we are looking at people who have ideas that can transform our society, that can be able to govern in a way in which the people are the ones that are going to be the beneficiaries. Because the truth is, and we all know this, politicians have changed the whole agenda about elections. Mm-hmm. And so they look at people as just votes. They look at people as votes, not as people who have other things that they need to do. But they look at people who they can be able to drum up support in, and they get those votes. Sure. And once they get the votes, they forget this electorate. Mm-hmm. And that is part of the problem that we have. We have people who are self-seekers as politicians, and I think we need to change the whole idea about who do we elect, how do we elect them, and what are they going to do for us. In fact, I would say that one of the things that needs to be put clearly is that you cannot enrich yourself once you become a politician. In fact, if we need to make sure that they cannot be able to enrich themselves from the offices that they hold. If that can be one key thing, that somebody who is going to be elected in this office will only earn a certain amount of money, then these people who are enriching themselves through political offices may think twice by seeking that particular office. That is my thought. I stand to be corrected, but I think we need to change the whole idea about wealth as far as a political office.
Wow, thank you so much. I know there's a lot that is going on right now. Let us ensure that we participate in the voting process. If you have not registered as a voter, it is important for you to register. If you have, if you don't know where you can register, just go to the state website and register yourself and participate in the voting process. Thank you so much. I have Nora. Nora, thank you so much, Connie Champa, for bringing in these great people, these great women leaders who are doing great things. And we will continue giving them an opportunity to join us and even share their story and encourage the people. This is the trumpet of hope. So we gonna ensure that we get a minute and exactly do that. So as we conclude, Dr. Robert Chiuri, I know there's a lot going on. Your meetings with the ambassador, and take our greetings there, and also the meetings with the other heroes across the state or across the nation. So I don't know, what are your closing remarks or things that you would want us to remember before we conclude?
Yeah, thank you, Captain. And again, thank you for agreeing to host this event every Wednesday, where we are celebrating our heroes in the diaspora. And Global Diaspora Development Foundation, together with Global Kenyan Diaspora One Voice Consortium and Global Standards Institute, have put together a list of finalists for our Heroes program. So we will be extending to you this list, so that every week you can be able to interview at least one hero who has gone through our evaluation process, where we are evaluating on how they have been able to do the things that they are doing. So we'll be having various people that we have looked at what they have done that has impacted the community, the influence that they have had on the community, the contributions that they have had in the community, and there are many. I'm not going to name them all here, because you are going to have that list, Captain, and you'll be calling them, and you'll be interviewing them, and they will also share with you how the things that they're doing. And we are also going to be listening to them, because even for me, I will be listening every time to hear what they have done, because I keep on improving myself from also listening from others and learning from others. So we will be out there, and I know there is that young man and that young girl somewhere who may be inspired from what these people are going to say. So thank you so much for having that program. I have for you enough heroes to go all the way to next year for every week. So you have enough of them.
Wow, thank you so much. Oh, that is very encouraging. And we have the time, and we are going to ensure that we learn from these great people. If you're there and there is someone in your state, someone in your city doing something quietly down there, we need to know these people. Send them my way. We'll be able to give them some time. And I know that every Wednesday we'll have to celebrate one voice, and it will be important. Yes. So thank you so much, Dr. Chiuri, and I'm so happy.
Yeah, I wanted also to add and also thank besides thanking you, I also want to recognize the various organizations that we work with under Global Kenya Diaspora One Voice Consortium. There are many organizations, and I'm not going to name all of them, but we have many organizations that work with us. There might be organizations that are women-based organizations like Kwitu. There are others that are men-based like Kemen. We have SACCOs of business people, SACCOs. Others are women-led, like KNADS, which is an organization that is a SACCO for women. We also have Kenya Diaspora Alliance, We have the Council of Elders, Diaspora. We also have KESA, which is a Kenya Studies and Students Association, which brings together the scholars that are in US. And we have many other organizations within this consortium. And we keep on telling other diaspora organizations that are out there, join us. We want to speak in one voice. We want to have an organization that is championing the causes of people in the diaspora. We are not a political organization, but an organization that is bringing people together to speak in one voice.